So, Anime Expeditions has been out for about 2 to 3 weeks, and since all the original hype is gone and everything, I want to give you guys my honest opinion on what I think about the game. Now, obviously, you can tell I like the game. I'm level 185. I wouldn't play a game nor make content on it if I didn't see it doing well. Now, let's start with just the looks. I love how they have the color differential for like certain areas like leaderboards, upgrades, summon, guilds, etc. But I like how they all come together. Like they all have their different colors for the trees and everything. You can see that like the little blue, the story mode, like the blueness comes out from the portal. I don't know how to explain that, but like it spreads over but not like completely. Same with like the raids, you can see like patches of green, so it looks like it's mixing in and it's kind of like absorbing the world, like it's coming out to you. It's the same thing with like leaderboards, upgrades, summon. Like it has like that little bit of green and like all mixed in. It's amazing. Everything looks great. I mean, I love the summon area. They put lots of detail into this. I mean, most games don't put nearly as much detail into this. I think it's amazing when you're spinning, you see this huge like rotating thing where you summon your units from, and you have like that huge nice background. I also love how open the lobby is, especially because of the fact that when you get used to a game like Anime Vanguards, the lobby is super small, and every time you, for example, use a mount, you're just hitting walls, hitting roofs, things like that, and you can never kind of like run around with it and things. You can't really, there's no space in that game, but there is a lot in this one. I'm not hating on Anime Vanguards, I'm just giving an example as to why I think this one is great, the lobby. Now, if we move past that, the actual content of the game, sorry, the models look amazing. That's another thing with the game. They do look good. I like how for the DMCA, instead of making the Freeman look absolutely terrible, nothing like her, they added the little like chest where she gets eaten in the show because she's too curious, right? So it's DMCA free, but it still looks really good. It's something from the show. Now, don't get me wrong, that means there is some units that I don't like the models of, for example Grimjaw, but we'll get into that later. Now, for the actual content in the game, it has the basic things: story, infinite, raids, like leaderboards, tournaments, things like that. But the way they do it, I find, is, I want to say better, but it's more of different, especially when we get to raids, which I'll talk about that. But I think tournaments, they did do better because there's solo, duo, there's event tournaments, and there's like global tournaments that reset seasonally to get like certain skins, things like that. And my favorite part is the fact that you get titles like badges, things like this. I like it because of the fact that AV got rid of it, and this was a huge thing. People were always chasing for titles, and it actually shows you like which tournament it's from. See, number 5, season 1. You can see if we go to normal tournament, it is tournament season 3, right? So I like how they implemented that. I like how they also do the elements really well, because for example in Anime Vanguards, in their tournament, they just eliminate certain units from being used. For example, curse elements, light element, or holy element, sorry, fire element, etc. Whilst this one makes it so that older units, like for example in the solo tournament, Freerin is still very viable to use because she actually does more damage than Itachi now, because Itachi has lost his increased damage and Freerin has gained it. So it's really good that they've like implemented the elements properly compared to like Anime Vanguards, where their elements are, in my opinion, not that like pretty bad, because you don't need certain elements for certain maps. In Anime Vanguards, on a tournament, as long as it's not banned, you're gonna use it if it's the newest unit, right? Compared to this, where you can use older units and it's still gonna make them good, and it's gonna make newer units really bad. Like for example, making Itachi not as good for just this specific tournament. Now, there is basic things like story mode and raids. Story mode, and with the infinite, everybody has their, I want to say, spin on it. Nothing really special, but it's a necessary point in the game that you're going to need. But when it comes to raids, theirs is slightly different. Now, raids and dungeons have like their own gimmicks. All the units have like their own specific modifiers and things. Certain bosses too, like for example Greed from Kenpachi, how he steals 10% HP of all nearby enemies within a 5, I'm assuming like a 5 tile range. It's great, and I like how they implemented raid totems to increase your damage. Like the more you play, the more damage you do, the easier it gets. But again, it's still very similar to, let's say for example, like Anime Vanguards. Anime Vanguards has it so that it's sometimes it's like dungeons, not raids. Sorry. Sometimes it's like dungeons, not raids, and you can like pick certain cards. Certain raids you can pick certain cards. I know there is certain gimmicks that every like boss has, and I enjoy the one in Anime Expeditions more, but that doesn't mean that they just do it completely better. They just do it differently, and different is good if they do it right, because you don't want to have like the same thing rinse and repeat where everybody keeps coming to this game, seeing the new update, and everything's basically the same like Anime Vanguards has been doing. And they also don't want to come here and be like, oh well, Anime Vanguards dropped these bosses that do this, and 2 updates later they drop the same thing. You get what I'm saying? Now let's move on to Expeditions, the actual game mode. Now everybody says this is different. They were actually hyped to release Anime Expeditions because of the actual expedition part, because of the fact, the game mode, sorry, because of the fact that it was so different. No other game has done it. They were super proud of it, which, don't get me wrong, it's a great game mode. It's very good. I enjoy it a lot. I think it looks amazing. I think the actual content that it brings and the difficulties, etc., is amazing. I like how you can like buy things mid-match. It's really good. It's kind of like, I want to say like basically adventure mode in Anime Vanguards. But the difference is that you're not like you're doing your normal defense. You're defending this cart that's constantly moving, and you're still defending like normally, and like in between you can still like buy things, etc. Now I know there's other games that have, again, another thing that's similar. For example, All-Star Tower Defense X has it so that you send some units into an area, they gain some XP, but they also gain a certain rewards. So that's essentially that's what you're doing here, but instead, to do that AFK part, you actually have to play the game, get the fuel resources, add them to the, or fuel cells, sorry, add them to the drill and add them to the gold mine, and keep taking and adding to the training grounds, rather than just completely getting to do everything without having to actually do anything. So I do like that aspect. I do like how they have it so that everything's being built. It is different. Again, there's games that have certain things that are slightly similar but different, and I feel like this different is good, and I want to see more improvements to this expedition mode. I feel like they could add so much. For example, they could add, so for example, in Armory, there's reroll equipment, forge equipment, scrap equipment, right? And I don't think they should add equipment transfers where like you spin on a certain equipment and you can transfer it to another, because of the fact that you get so many rerolls and you get so many actual what's it called? Let's just select this equipment. You get so many equipment locks that it's just unnecessary. You don't really need it. But I do think they should add something to the equipment that gives, not just equipment, but again, I want to say like armor, where you can like upgrade armor and things like that, because they already have the equipment. And I know there's already like a bunch. There's the unit equipment, there is the standard equipment, right? But you could also have like, I don't know how to explain it, but I would just like to see them implement more to this aspect. Maybe instead of adding like damage equipments, they can add some armor equipments, and maybe these armor equipments give you, I don't know, maybe they make you do more psychic damage or something like that. So it's very difficult to explain what I'm expecting for equipment in the future, but I just want them to add on to the armory, because armory doesn't mean just weapons, it means accessories and armor, right? So I just hope they add on to it. I also hope that they continue to add more things in the research lab. It would be really cool if, you know how this turret gets a bomb mid-game and you can like specify where it shoots and things like that. I think it would be cool if there was an option where you can drop like, not smoke bombs, but let's say for example oil on the ground and it makes them like slip and slow down. So I think there's a lot of things they could add to the actual cart, and I would like it if you could choose which cart, like maybe one cart does damage like this one here, and then you have another one that has like a little opening in the back which does like the oil and slows enemies. Then you can have another one that has like a statue in the middle that buffs your units by, let's say for example, like 5% range or something, and then you can increase it later on. So I think they have a lot to go off of here, and I think they can add so much to the point where it's going to be ridiculously great. Now, that's all I have to say about the game. So overall, I would give this game like an 8.5 out of 10. I'm having lots of fun. Yes, it does get a little bit boring when you're this late into the game, but there is still things to do. Like, I still do the index. I mean, I got every rare, every epic. I'm just missing Reaper, Legendary, Shiny. Mythics, I'm just missing some of the shiny versions. Exclusive, it's just the shiny version of the Toymaker, and Secrets, it's just the shiny version of Crow. Now, and again, there's enemies, equipment, etc. I gotta get all these equipment. I haven't even gotten one yet, but that's besides the point. So I do think they've added a lot of stuff in the game that allows you to play constantly, and it allows you to like stay intrigued, especially since they've made rerolls not easy but not hard. Obviously, if you can still pay to win and it's still going to be worth it, but you don't have to. I mean, you can farm basically, I think it's 100 rerolls a day. You get 10 from this mission, the daily challenge. You get 30 from here, that's already 40. Then if you complete the daily challenge for the actual quests, that's 45. There's also, as of right now, there's like the event where you can get the villain chest to get more rerolls, which gives you like, typically you'll get like 5 to 10 a day, so let's go with like 47. Then there's also the shop where you can buy 25 in gold shop. Yeah, 25. I haven't actually bought them today. Let's do that right now. Sorry. That's like, I don't know, I lost count. 50, 25, 75. You go over to spawn like once a week. You can buy them from the raid shop right here in Spirit City in general. Obviously, I've already bought them all, so I just gotta wait till they're back in stock. And I like how it refreshes. There's also other things you can get it from. For example, there is a lot of level milestones, which again, I do enjoy that they've added this factor. And I like how certain ones, like every 20, you get like a specific boost. Like 240 is 28, 220 is 26, but after that, it's 4 rerolls every time, and gems, etc., etc. So I do like that they've made rerolls not easy but not hard. You still have to grind for them, but they've made it very accessible. Now let's move on to the things that are bad, or that not bad exactly, but things that I think they should change and add on to, or things that they need to get rid of, add in order to make the game better. Now for starters, they, like I said, they did do a great job with some of the models. They all look good. Like for example, Razorjaw or Grimjaw does look good. Like if you didn't know this character, this was just like a random character they created, you'd think it looks cool. But it just looks, in my opinion, a little bit too different from what the actual character in the show looks like. And what's throwing me off is the mask, and it's these floating chains, because I have no idea what this has to do with him, because he's, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, in my opinion, not the best. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good model, it just looks a little bit different. So I think they should continue to focus on adding things like free run, where it's similar to the unit, but to keep it DMCA free, they add like a specific thing so that it's not too similar and they can't get, again, DMCA striked. Because for example, Itachi looks great, but they have certain things that differentiate him. For example, Susanoo doesn't look exactly like it. He doesn't have like the Akatsuki, what's it called? He doesn't have like the Akatsuki robe on him, but he still has the crows, you can clearly tell this is still Itachi. Same with Grimjaw, but this one just looks really good. You get what I'm saying? They're implementing. He's got a lot of crows. And he has a cloak. That's not a cloak, but like I guess like a cloak that he has on throughout basically the entirety of the show. And they added their own type of cloak, so you can still tell that it's the character. Like for example, again, Freerin, it still looks great. Okay, but I just think they should continue to move in the pace of like Itachi, Freerin, keeping them similar but giving them their own oomph so that they don't get DMCA striked. Now, one thing for game modes that I think they should, I want to say make better. It's hard to say, but something I want to like make better is the matchmaking. Now, I know it's very difficult to get matchmaking perfect, but the game does have a lot of problems whenever you go into matchmaking, that you're gonna be with either it's gonna be like a brand new player or a bunch of bots. Not that many bots, but I have had some, or at least like a bunch of alt accounts somebody's making where they're just sitting there 24/7, especially in expeditions mode. I wish there was a choice kind of in matchmaking to like, not, I would even say like pick a specific level or anything like that. I think when you click like enter matchmaking, you can either go, for example, let's say you're in expeditions mode, and let's say you're doing the second map. I would think they should add something that allows you to, again, not pick your actual team, but be able to vote people out if they're AFK, if that makes sense. So you can choose to get rid of members. Now, I know it can cause some problems where people are just going to kick somebody because they think it's funny, something like that. But I think it should also be like, okay, this person's been AFK for 2.5 minutes. Now you have the choice to kick them, kind of thing, right? Because in expeditions mode, sometimes the people who are AFK are the people that are allowed, because since they're I believe it's the host, they are the only ones able to start the game. So it makes it so that you're sitting there for minutes and minutes waiting for this person to get back, when you could have just, they sat there for like a minute and a half, then the game asked you, do you want to kick this player? They've been AFK. You get rid of them, and then the next person can just start it. Or another thing they can change with that is that anybody can start and move the map. Now, again, I know it can cause some problems where some people want to be funny and they're just gonna keep switching from like lane to lane to like the bad lane to get less rewards, or like what they specifically want. But I do think they should add something similar to what I'm giving them, just because of the fact that I think it's a good idea. Maybe they just need to go off of it, like work on it and figure out what they think would work best. But I do think this would be like a good option to have, and it would get rid of a lot of those leechers and people who just want to, yeah, leechers. The final thing that I think that they should add or make better, etc., is guilds. Now, there's nothing exactly wrong with guilds. I mean, it's got all the basic things. You can invite people, you can edit your picture, you add like money to edit things, upgrade things, add more members. There's global leaderboards, which I didn't even know that existed till now, but I guess they don't really show. Anyways, you can like see the members, you can like promote certain people, like you can manage them, manage role, promote them, kick them, etc., which is great. But the thing I have is inviting players. Now, for example, let's do my alt here. This is my alt. Send invite. The player is not in this server. So if the player is not in the current server that you are in, you're unable to invite them. Now, it's not that bad of a scenario, because yeah, if they're gonna join your guild, you want them to be active anyways, so you're gonna have to make sure you guys are in the same server. But it's just inconvenient. What if you want to add somebody to your guild who's in a different time zone and you guys are just never awake at the same time? You don't want to just give them your account and say, hey, like invite yourself, right? You don't want to give a random person administrative powers and then they just start kicking people because they think it's funny, right? So I think they should make it so that it's universal. If you send the person the invite, they get it regardless of if they're in the server or not. Now there could be a setting that I don't know of. I've looked, but I couldn't find any. So if there is, please let me know. But yeah, I think they should just change that one specific thing about guilds. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with their guilds. I like how the little area, like the little area looks. I like how there's couches, they got the chairs, they got like books and stuff. I love how it looks. I love how they did it. I just think the invite system is very slow and it's just very inconvenient. It's the most inconvenient one I've ever seen. If I'm going to be honest, I have not met another game that has added guilds or teams or clans, etc. for tower defense games that has that inconvenience that this one does. I do understand that there's some things, like for example, they don't want let's say for example, I'm trying to think. The only thing I can really think of is just like a random content creator getting like 1,000 invites, but I don't even think that's like a bad thing. Or maybe somebody invites their friend who isn't supposed, I don't know how to explain it. They like, somebody invites like a bunch of their alts that aren't on server to like join the clan, raid it or something, but I can't really think of a reasoning as to why they would do it as have to be in the server to invite people. But that's just my opinion. The final thing that I think they should add or change, or that again I quote unquote dislike, is inside story mode. Now don't get me wrong, it's great. I like how they have like the stars for normal, hard, the infinite, mastery, which is basically like a legend stage. But I think it would be cool because majority of the story modes have an option to not an option, have two things that you can get. For example, there is okay, sorry, I need to remember. There is the technique amplifier and the promise ring. So now you can farm both of them, which you're going to want both of them eventually, right? But I think it would be cool if you could have an option where you can eliminate the chance of getting the boulder and double the chance of getting Calamity's Eye. Now again, it's not that I don't like it or anything, or I think it's bad, again, etc. But I think it would just be cool if you can, again, like choose but not choose which one you're getting, because I wanted to farm Calamity's Eye, and yes, it's only 20 rounds for pity. I know it's 5% chance, but I was getting multiple boulders before I even got a Calamity's Eye. I would have liked it if I could have just increased the Calamity's Eye to 10% and eliminated the chance of getting a boulder. Now, I know it's something very minimal, but I just think that little change would be cool, because they did it in Expeditions where instead of getting scrap for deleting equipment, you now get like gray orbs, or I don't know exactly what they're called, spirits or sprites. So I think that would be like a cool little addition thing they can add. But overall, I'm really enjoying this game. I think it's absolutely amazing. There's nothing really bad or anything that's like extremely bad. There's just like these little tweaks that I think they should do. And I think they should continue to increase the amount of units that they're adding. For example, they added 4 last update, which was I think like 2 weeks after the game came out or something like that. A week and a half maybe, I'm not 100% certain on the details, but they added 4 units, which was very good and was very fun. They added a cool game mode, all things like that, and I want to continue to see them keep up with adding all these units, consistency, and not being like, for example, Anime Vanguards, where they're updating every month and adding like 5 units where 2 of them are good and then the rest of them are not good, so you're basically just finishing the update in like 2 days of macroing. And I like the fact that they've added auto upgrading and ghost placements and everything, but they don't have it where you can like basically just full on macro. They make it so that you actually have to play. Now, without further ado, guys, that's the end of the video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, again, these are all just my honest opinions. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Maybe I mean, I am a content creator. I can talk to other content creators, get their opinions on stuff too. But I want to see what you guys think. Like, are you guys enjoying the game? What do you guys want to see added? What do you guys want to see, I guess, changed or gotten quote unquote rid of? So yeah, that's everything. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.